Alright, yo, what's up everyone? It's Shooting Game Weekly, episode 122, Nex Machina, Death Machine. This is the latest and greatest video gaming. This is what I said last night while I was streaming this, and this is awesome twin stick shooter that just recently came out from Housemarque Studios, also responsible for Resogun and some other titles. And on this episode, gonna be joined by guests JimmyQBalls and Zaarock. Welcome, guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
And also guest hosted by K Price. Welcome, K Price.
Yes, welcome, squad up, people. We're here for some good twin stick action. I'm excited for this one. Really excited.
Yep, this is gonna be a war against Comcast, a war against the robots. We're gonna hope we can get through this because my connection is kind of dipping here and there. But everyone, just pray to the Comcast gods. I think we might be able to get through this one.
We're gonna do it.
Oh yeah, so why don't QBalls or Zaarock, you guys want to kind of preface what led up to the creation of Nex Machina and kind of what talk about a bit about the hype with this game and what's going on here.
From my understanding, what happened was they were at a game show, and Harry Kruger, the director of Resogun, ran into Eugene Jarvis, and he basically approached him and said, maybe we can collaborate on a new twin stick game, in the vein of like Robotron and Smash TV. And he agreed to it. And over the past few years, they've been kind of toiling away and experimenting with what they wanted to do. And then they pretty much came up with this concept. I think it was Project Voxeltron or something like that. And it ended up being Nex Machina. And, having the Jarvis influence, you can see a lot of it with the scoring systems and the chaos and the personality that the game has, as well as the flow and the pacing.
Yeah, it's a lot like Robotron, isn't it? And like Defender, and like you're saving the humans to keep that combo going, just like in Resogun. But this time we got a twin stick shooter, and
right. Yeah, I mean Resogun was a spiritual successor to Defender as well, and that was before they even knew who Jarvis was. So I mean, he was always an influence to their stuff. It's just that this game was the kind of the perfect combination of what he does and what they do.
Neato. Where do you want to go from there?
Well, if you want to start the replay.
Oh, well,
we can get right into it and start showing the game, or it's
right into it. Oh, whoa, all right.
Well,
what's up to you?
I guess we could talk about the game a bit first, how it works. Sure. But there's if you're more interested in that, if you're interested in how the game was made, they are making a documentary on it. I don't know if it'll be released for free, but there's a little preview of it on YouTube. So it has a bunch of info and stuff like that, like Harry and Eugene talking about the game design stuff. That's pretty cool, I thought. So it's neat.
Yeah, they actually got to go to Eugene Jarvis's house and drink Budweiser with him, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's a dream of mine.
So, why don't we just start out and talk about what's going on in the game, like with the HUD and kind of what can you do in the game in terms of like your controls, the very basic stuff before we actually start this replay.
Yeah, I mean the big flow of the game obviously is points, being an arcade shooter, and as far as like the tool set that you have. You start the game with no power-ups, and you're just a simple dude. It's twin stick shooter, 360-degree movement, analog movement, and then 360 shooting. And then every time there's a bar in the bottom left. Every time you kill an enemy, that bar is filled up slightly. When the bar rolls over and fills up, you get a random power-up. And you can see that from left to right, you have weapon range, triple dash, shield, dash explosion, and weapon spread. And the weapon spread and the weapon range might be mixed from left to right. I kind of forget which is which. But those power-ups are given in a random order. And when you're fully powered up, your machine gun goes from a 3-shot to a 5-spread. You get additional movement speed, and your sub-weapon will charge even faster. And sub-weapons don't have any ammo, and those are picked up in, you'll see these kind of blue boxes on the play field. And when they're opened, it kind of does like a roulette system where it goes, 1, 2, and then whatever weapon you like. Like I'm a smart bomb guy, so I'm gonna wait for number 5. So if I see it, if I open a box and it's at number 2, and I still want to keep the human combo going, which we'll explain that in a bit too, I'm gonna kind of move and shake through the level while keeping an eye on that box, and then when it gets to that smart bomb, I'm gonna go pick it up and then get back to my flow in the level. And that's really what a big part of the game is about, is you're managing several layers at once. You're killing enemies, you're trying to keep the human combo going, you're picking up secrets, you're dealing with the enemies, and even though something minor can happen to change the flow of your game, I mean, it's almost like a ripple effect where one small mistake could really cause a problem for the next level, or maybe even the level after that. And it pretty much all has to do with the human combo.
Yeah, the pacing is crazy. And you have a invincible dash on the left trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
what else can you do?
Yeah, you start off with a simple dash, which you can either tap for a short dash or hold for a long one. And then when you have the triple dash, you can do a series of 3 dashes, and you're invincible during a dash, and you also have a few invincibility frames during recovery. So you'll see oftentimes, like sometimes you'll dash what looks like into a bullet, but the end of the dash itself will actually eat that bullet, and you'll be safe and you won't actually get killed.
And you see that dash recharging via the little gray bar above the character, right?
Exactly, yeah. That'll show you how many dashes you have. And if you've expended all your dashes, you'll actually see the meter fill up again. And it's a little difficult to see, but with practice, I mean, it's one of those things. Visually, this game looks like chaos, and you kind of have to peel back all those layers. And over time, you kind of learn to understand what is important to look at in the current moment and what you just want to outright ignore. And that's really a big part.
And that's what we're doing right here. I'm just trying to peel it back so people know what the hell they're looking at, because it's visually like super stimulating. Like there's so much going on, and with those voxels fucking blowing up everywhere, and it's good to understand when the character is invincible and using that dash, because you're using the dash all the time and getting out of pressure in that. And then there's a shield pickup, which is you can take 1 hit and then you take a death, and you got your lives in the top left. Then any other basic stuff, and then we can probably just jump right into the 3-play.
Oh yeah, one of the power-ups is dash explosion, which makes you do like a explosion attack at the end of your dash, and that also raises bullets and pretty much instant kills any enemy that isn't the boss. Does a lot of damage to bosses, so I feel like with all of those power-ups, the dash is like the main mechanic in this game. Like even with the dodging, you don't need to go through the bullet patterns perfectly. You can just dash through them like half of the time. You can chain your different abilities together to get through trouble, so on. But that takes some planning. That's part of the fun of the game.
Yeah, dashing is paramount for sure. I mean, it's something that's replenished very quickly, so the game expects you. I mean, the game's busy for a reason, but at the same time, when you're given a tool set that allows you to, I mean, you can see how many enemies are going on at once, and he's still able to intelligently move and shake and kill everything, and keep all these layers.
And then you also have the sub-weapon recharging via the bottom gray bar of the character. Is that correct? Is that what that is?
It's the bottom gray bar, and then as well, you can actually see above the power-up tree, it's showing that he has the smart bomb, and when he uses that'll fill up itself as well. So there's actually 2 ways to tell when the sub-weapon will be available.
Yeah, the dash one also has a sound effect when it reloads, and all of these timings is static. They don't change. The game doesn't have slowdown like an arcade shooter, so you can sort of get used to the timing. Like it'll get stuck in your head after some practice. So.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, internalizing. Like after a while, you're not even really too much at the bars. It's just gonna be on feel.
Yeah, so I got to try this game for the first time last night, and it's super pick up and play. Like instantly, I was having a good time. Like it's just got that feel to it, which is really awesome. So if anyone thinks it's pretty cool, like definitely it's gonna be for you probably. I think.
I've got a question actually. Just wanted to ask. In regards to the human combo system, so how would you say that works? I think that plays really importantly with score, because I've seen some of the scoreboard, particularly not just you, Jimmy, but from also like Dent Face and also Super Jewfly, who is one of the runs we'll be seeing. Like, you guys have amassed some ridiculous scores on this game.
Yeah, it really does come down to the human combo, and the way it works is the maximum value of a human varies depending on what difficulty you're on. This is going to be a veteran run, which the maximum human value is 10,000 points. And how it works is the first human you pick up is worth 1,000, and then every consecutive human you pick up in the chain is worth another 500 to that. So it'll be 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, etc., up to that maximum of 10,000 points. There are secret humans hidden somewhere in some of the levels, and the secret humans are worth 5,000 points times your multiplier. They carry that bonus, and they're also worth whatever your combo is. So if you're at the combo of 20 or more, you're going to get 10,000 points plus 5,000 points times multiplier. And then every time you pick up a human, you'll notice that, like, around the human themselves, there's kind of a bluish green circle that starts closing. And then it also matches that meter in the top right. You can see human combo X 312. And the reason why it's locked right now is when you get to the boss fight, the timer locks. But as the timer goes down and the human circle goes down, it'll turn yellow. And when it turns yellow, you have exactly 3 seconds to get to the next human where that human combo will end. And then the human value goes back to, you know, its default value. So right here, you can see at the end of the level, his current combo is going to be multiplied by 2,000. And then that's going to be multiplied by the his multiplier. So that is, you can see all the bonus structure here. And then for just his human combo, 312, he got 624,000 points times 100, which is, you know, so that's why the human combo is so big. If you can get to the later levels in the game and never drop your combo, you're going to get these massive bonuses at the end of the level. So that's, you know, saving the humans, just like Resogun. You can casually play the game and just save when you can, but if you combo these humans, that's how you're going to get the big scores. The bonuses.
Okay.
You know,
so there's a real. Sorry to interrupt. There's a real sort of push and pull to the game because it's all about, on top of all these layers of, like, you have to shoot all these enemies, you have to think about your dashing, you have to also think about trying to get through levels, and if there's suits like humans as well, you want to try and keep that score going so it just gets higher and higher and higher.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that certain humans in the game, like, they're all generally in the same place. Some humans don't move, they stand still, and then other humans kind of walk in a box that's a set path. But the direction is random. So every so often, like every time you play the game, you can't really count on, okay, the human's going to be here on this pixel, so I can adjust my path for this. They're always going to be slightly different. So that always changes the dynamic of every run. Every run that I've played of this game, it's never the same because, like I say, you got this kind of small ripple effect where if one thing is off, it's going to change the next series of events, and it might be good, it might be bad, and you know that's the whole fun of the game is you're constantly battling this flow and trying to, you know, calm down the chaos, so to speak, and get control. Okay. And every so often, you know, you might take a hit or you might, you know, lose a little time here and there, but the way the levels are designed is, you know, some levels are going to be extremely tight where you're going to have a lot of trouble comboing the humans and you really have to milk that timer. And then every so often the pacing kind of backs off where they're going to give you an extra human or two. So if you went into that level with a low amount of time to begin with, there's some leeway and you can kind of fight back and then, you know, get into the next level with a full combo. So you can see, like, what Soup is doing here is he's killing pretty much all the enemies. So when he exits the level, he's picking up the human either at the very end of the level or once the level's over. Because once each wave is over, it locks that timer again. So he's basically trying to, like, push back. Like right here, you can see he's going to kill all the enemies and then pick up the human. That way, the next level, he's starting off with a fresh timer, so he's not under, you know, any sort of stress.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's start the replay from the beginning then, because we are getting into talking about it now.
Gotcha.
Sure.
All right. Are we all ready then?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Hit 3, 2.
Hey, what's up, Craig? Fob,
3,
Neo?
2, 1, go. Yeah, welcome everyone to some Nex Machina goodness. So yeah, Supa Jufly is the player of the first run here, doing the veteran mode. The is that, you know, I mean, how many difficulties are there? There's master after
5.
veteran, and then, or there's another one, hero mode. I want to talk about the difficulties.
Yeah, you have rookie, and rookie only has 5 levels. You can't get to all 6 levels in rookie. And then Rookie is also slower. Like as the difficulties increase, the game speed increases, and also like Veteran and Experience more or less have the same structure. Where Veteran and Master and Hero, there's additional humans, and then the game speed is faster. And then if you're playing a Master, you have Revenge Bullets as well. So each difficulty adds kind of a different layer of more dynamics to the run, which makes it more difficult.
It can really ease any skill level player into, I feel like, and like even Rookie, when I was playing that, I was like, all right, this is a little easy, but I'm still having like, this is still fucking awesome. So it's
yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's great.
Even though it says Rookie, you don't feel stupid by playing it. You know.
No, exactly.
The big core design philosophy for this by the director was depth without complexity. You know, so even if you're just playing this for fun, you're going to play it simply by shooting the enemies, and there's a lot of inherent fun in that. You're going to pick up the humans that you can, but then for guys like us that really want to get in and peel back the layers and go for a big score, there's a lot there. You know, just no one has even come close to, full comboing Master or something. So, and who knows how long that will take. You know, it just...
What would you say what are the different enemies in the game? Because all of them, I must say, they all have their different patterns, and there's different variety of layers. It's almost very orchestrated in a way. The patterns move about, they move, and how they approach a character.
Yeah, I mean, so some enemies are just basically designed to path direct. You can see these little kind of little mini tanks. Like their job is to they go right towards you without thought. I mean, they're just drones. They're purely designed to go after you and force you to either move or just kill them. And there's some ebb and flow there. And then you can see these guys there at the top of that level. They're called the Harvesters, and the Harvesters go directly towards the humans. And if there's no humans around, of course they're going to go after you as well. But what they do is you can see that when the Harvesters get near a human, they start this magic spell, and you can actually hear, there's this sound to telegraph it. And when they start the magic spell, instead of the circle closing in and getting smaller, there's a red circle that grows. And when the red circle reaches its maximum diameter, it actually, it'll kill the human. It doesn't end your combo, but if that's the last human on the screen and that's the one you need to get your combo, then yeah, you're probably going to be screwed.
That's almost similar to the brains in Robotron. How on, I think it's wave 5, when the first time you meet them, they go immediately after some of the humans and they turn into enemies that immediately charge at you.
Right. And if the humans are killed, they convert the humans to an enemy. And then there's certain enemies that will pick up the human and kill them, and then they supercharge the enemy, or the human rather, with some sort of weapon energy, and then they actually throw the dead human at you. It's pretty cool. You'll see that on some of the later levels. So there's various types of enemies that rush towards you. There's various types of enemies that just kind of float around and bounce off walls in a random pattern. So you have these different types of layers. Some you're going to have to deal with directly. Some you're going to have to deal with indirectly. There's certain things that when killed, they spew laser beams or spawn revenge bullets. So I mean, there's a lot of different things that you have to kind of get used to and understand, like, okay, there's enemy X, Y, and Z on the stage, so I know that this can happen or that can happen, and it comes down to just kind of realizing and being comfortable to what's there and what you have and what what the strategies are to deal with those things.
Oh yeah, I don't think this has been mentioned yet, but the human chaining and so on is like there's no survival benefit for playing for score. Like scoring, survival is completely separate, so you can just shoot stuff, get through the game, no problem. If you want to play for score, the survival won't get any easier. So
yeah, there's no extends based on score or anything. Yeah. All the extends are based on hidden lives found in the environment.
I feel like there's so much feedback for the scoring system, though, that
there's a lot of hidden lives in the levels.
Like anyone playing is just gonna get the idea, like, okay, this is really how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is fairly simple in terms of what has to be done. It's just that when you kind of get that mentality, like, okay, now I'm going to do this, and now I want to go for that score, that's when you realize how much depth there is and how much fine-tuning and precision
Holy shit, that was crazy.
To do this.
Yeah.
How did he start the level by, like, blowing everything up right there?
Yeah, I mean, you can see Supa's very aggressive. I mean, he's going into these levels and just immediately dashing and exploding. And, you know, certain enemies like those, it almost looks like a big kind of red balloon. When you blow them up, normally they fire revenge bullets in an 8-way pattern. But if you dash explosion into them or use the smart bomb, it just instantly kills them and gets rid of that, you know, those revenge bullets. So it's a little bit safer of a way. And then I guess I also forgot to mention, like, certain level, like sometimes the level progression is based on killing a certain enemy or a certain series of enemies. Sometimes it's based on level positioning where, you know, if I cross over a certain threshold or cross into a room, it's going to spawn, you know, a certain set of enemies. And then there's also enemies that are purely based on time throughout the level. So you have time, positioning, and then, you know, enemies killed. And then the level ends when all enemies are killed, not when all humans are picked up.
Okay, yeah, good to clarify that.
Yeah, and wow, the way he just wiped the floor with Beamtron there has to be
yeah, that's
sick. Impressive right there. So how would you say the bosses are in this game? Because I know, if I remember hearing right, I think it's the last boss in this game, which is Nex Machina herself. They cut off continues. Is that right?
Well, not only do they cut off continues, but the only way to reach the, I know you guys are shmup fans, so you'll recognize the term TLB, which is True Last Boss. If you one credit clear the game on Experienced, Veteran, or Master, you reach a secret boss called Nex Machina. You know, it's kind of a titular boss. And when you get to Nex Machina, say you have 0 lives, if you die, that's it. You know, you only get 1 shot at Nex Machina. So there's some mystique to that. You know, there's definally a very cool thing to see.
Yeah, that's like an old
time.
arcade thing right there, where you get the last stage and it's like, oh well, you game over here. Well, you're going back. Fuck you.
yeah, it's like a Sega game or something. You know, Shinobi. You know, you get to the final level and, you know, say you got 1 life on the final level and you die. Well, that's it. You're shit baked. There's no more.
And the game is very arcadey. Like, there is only like the 5 or 6 stages. So I mean, you end up replaying the stages over and over, and the stages are fucking awesome too. Like, I love how they look, and I love the different themes, and oh my god.
Also, gotta give credit to the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is really good in this.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's all that sort of, like, I guess you could say early teens, like kind of dubstep, but it's really tuneful and it's really heavy and fast paced.
Yeah, Adi Pulkkinen did the soundtrack for this game, and he's pretty much Housemarque's in-house guy. He's done, you know, the soundtrack for Resogun, among other stuff. And he also actually did the theme song for Angry Birds. It's always worth mentioning because, you know, that, even though it's not a shmup or anything, Angry Birds is a game that's probably been played and heard by billions of people. You know, that game was so big. So it's cool to see, you know, that, you know, Adi has a lot of range. You know, he's able to do so many different things. And this was also co-composed, I believe, by Tomas Nikkanen, and then Harry Kruger himself, the director of the game, actually did the music for Nex Machina, the secret boss at the end of the game, which is really cool.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the secret boss is synced to the music and everything, so I think that's a great combination, because he designed that boss, then he made the music, and then it's all synced up. Great.
Yeah, the attacks are actually synced to the music. It's super.
Yeah,
cool.
you'll see when Jewfly gets there in this replay.
Sure, I like the sound of that.
We got Jewfly in the chat room. Yo, shout out.
Yeah, here's Jewfly. Oh, yeah, Jewfly says watch a good. This is a good run. I just wanted to show off some various players in the game. So, you know, Jewfly is one of the Reso gods, and he's very dedicated. So yeah, he streams this game a lot too. So if you're not following him already, do so, because he knows a lot and he's really good at this game. So
put some respect on Jewfly's name, people.
Yeah, no, Jewfly's extremely good at any game that he plays. But yeah, the Housemarque Reso team games, he does some pretty incredible things. So. But like Aqua said, I mean, it doesn't matter what your skill set is or your skill level is. This game is very fun at a very pure, basic level, and it, you know, captures a lot of things that are just fun about video games, which is just blowing stuff up.
Yeah, of course. So, what would you say what would you say is this is the ice world, right? Or does it have a specific
Yeah, this is
name?
the second world, the ice cavern or something. I forget the exact
Okay, so
name.
what would you say are the differences between this world and the first world in terms of like how to approach it?
I mean,
Is it more of the same, or would you say there's certain changes in terms of strategy like you would have to approach? Because
you have some new enemies. And then here, actually, on this level, this is a good example. You can see that there's this little turret over there, this little mortar. And when he kills that mortar, you can see it actually opens up part of the other level. Where in the Techno Forest, there's let's see, a non-mandatory thing that you can use to open up additional areas. But this is the first level where you can see it here too. Like, there's a gray border around here that just opened up. So you can see it opened up a bridge for him to be able to go out and start saving the humans and kill these harvesters before the humans are taken out. So that's one of the dynamics that changes, is they add in, variants to the levels, as well as new enemies. You can see these little grasshopper buddies. These are new. And then they have these wheels as well. When you kill these wheels, they home in on the position where you last are when they start revving up. So you can see that he's constantly kind of shifting and moving laterally to where those enemies are to avoid them killing him.
Yeah, I love that every area you go to all of them are just different, and you approach them differently, and then you remember kind of the geometry of them and that type of thing.
Like I say, man, it was really fun watching you play last night, because you got the first experience, and even at one point you were combing through the level looking for secrets, and I would say 9 out of 10 times when you were looking for a secret on a level that you hadn't played before, you thought you shot everything. Like this level here, or no, actually the one level before, like you were combing through it, and I'm like, find the arcade cabinet. I didn't want to say anything, but it was fun because I'm like, he's gonna find the arcade cabinet, I think, right? And then you would shoot literally everything but the arcade cabinet. It was just funny. It just goes to show you like how clever they were with the level design, where they hide things in plain sight, but it's very easy to overlook them.
Yeah. Also, we might as well say hello, because it seems that our resident hero Cream-chan is here, the great Sailor V. So, hey, Cream.
Yes, I'm here.
She made it.
I was waiting for the perfect moment to cannonball in, but it seems I've been exposed, so yeah.
Sorry.
Welcome, Cream.
This is the part where you go, swipe or no swiping, and I snap my fingers and I go, darn it.
I swiped right for you, so.
Cream, would you like a timestamp to follow along here? We're at 13, 10, 11, 12, and I can give you another one in a moment. You got the video up?
That's good. That's
good.
Great.
We're at Yeti Kong, it seems.
Yeti Kong.
Yeah, this is a crowd favorite for sure. Especially the music. The music on this boss is excellent. But you can see, like, basically the way each boss works is there's 3 phases. So once you get it down, 2/3, 1/3, they typically get more aggressive, or you can see right now in the beginning of the fight, these skeletons were not coming down, where now you have multiple layers. You have the barrels which come down, and there's 3 different types of barrels. One barrel launches bullets in one direction, one kind of showers them in multiple directions, and there's another barrel that fires a horizontal laser. So as you get through the bosses, it's going to add a layer each time. So the 3rd phase of most of the bosses is, easily where it gets the most difficult. So,
yeah,
and you'll see that over the course of the run.
I like the look of that boss, especially the way it's sort of like, it's like you're traversing through the Donkey Kong stage, but without the ladders and whatever. So you just have this onslaught of barrels chasing at you. If only you could cartwheel through them like in Donkey Kong 98 on the Game Boy.
And
those that know that game, check it out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you gotta do that.
I've never heard of it.
Another thing to mention about Yeti Kong is in the alpha and the beta, you could actually farm the barrels that he would drop, and you could raise your multiplier and get a ton of points. So that was one of those kind of exploits that was found by the community, and then we told them you don't want this in the game, because someone will be willing to sit there and just farm barrels on Yeti Kong for hours and hours, and that person was me, and I got kind of a broken score in the leaderboards because of it. To just admit that home that you don't want to. These guys are very serious about their scoring systems. You put a lot of time into this, and you don't want to have somebody just be able to break it kind of demean the hard work that a real player is going to put in to get a legitimate score. So it's cool to see that, they really do take pride in their stuff on so many levels. I mean, Highwinds mentioned too, like no recycled assets. I mean, the craftsmanship in this game, you can see that just the animation of the enemies and the way their levels are crafted. I mean,
it's amazing. Holy shit.
Yeah.
You just don't typically see games in this genre that have this level of fidelity, and that, you have the crazy music, you have really good sound effects, a good scoring system, the art is really neat. Technically, you have this game that is pushing the PS4 to its limits, and it's a shoot 'em up. It's very rare you get a game in this genre that pushes a system to its limits, but here you have this crazy voxel particle system that has its all own effects, and there's they're all self-lit and self-shadowed. I mean, there's a lot going on here. These guys are technical wizards. They really, really are.
I would say, like, for me, it's like this and Polybius, as far as PS4 sort of schmuck games go. These are certainly, they're both incredibly busy games, but I would say, whereas Polybius is a far more psychedelic game, just in terms of like all the sounds and bits and pieces that are put together, this game is very clear in its use of, I can't believe I'm saying this, in its aesthetic, in the way it approaches colors, and like it wants you to understand this is how you play it, this is what these enemies do. And I really like the little red targets when enemies land in the area, or if there's missiles and stuff. That's really nice.
It's like a mashup of like Terminator, Tron, Blade Runner, all that type of shit.
Yeah, there's definitely themes throughout the game that you'll see.
I totally dig that. Like, that just makes my heart go doki doki.
This team is very passionate about their stuff, and you can see it. I mean, especially the next level, you just mentioned Blade Runner. You get this very techno-punk kind of theme going on in the next world. And then from there, the escalation, we start in a forest, and then we're ice, fire, and then you kind of go through this trip through a city, and then you're going to the company headquarters that's behind this story in the game, and, the people who made all the humans lazy and fat. And that's why the humans are it might be kind of hard to tell, but all the humans in this game are constantly looking at their phone or their Vita or whatever they're holding.
Is that what they're doing? Is that what they're doing? Oh, hunchback and shit.
Yeah, they're
oh, to their shit.
World. And that's really
that commentary.
That's kind of perfect.
Yeah, there's a little social commentary here.
I love it.
Technology and stuff kind of making people a little detached, and that's the thing. There's all this chaos and their death. They might die in the next moment, but they're, they don't care. They're trying to get likes on Facebook or something. Who knows?
That's me, IRL.
Well, you'll be one of the.
They're just playing Resogun on their Vita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're hating on them.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he can still see, like, he's blasting through, like right there. He blew up a secret yellow block in the environment, and the yellow blocks are interesting because you can only destroy them with a sub-weapon, but when you destroy them, it reveals a multiplier icon. And the hidden multiplier icons raise your multiplier by 0.5 instead of, the humans will raise the multiplier by as much as 0.2 and early in the game, and then when your multiplier gets higher, I believe it's 0.1. So say 10 humans will raise your multiplier. So every so often, you want to purposely forego the, killing enemies until your multiplier is raised. So if you're on the cusp of, say, you're at the end of a 9 multiplier and you're about to get to 10, well, if you can pick up the human and raise the multiplier to 10 before you kill the next volley of enemies, you're going to get more points. And even though it doesn't sound like a whole lot, over the course of a 40-minute game, if you can keep that mentality and keep raising the multiplier before you kill,
okay, so that's like
here and there, it adds up to millions and millions of points. And, even though this game, he's going to end up with over 1 billion points in this run, the scoring system is somewhat modest. It's not, you're not getting hundreds of billions of points, so every little situation does matter, and that's really what comes down to getting big scores in this game, is managing all those little scenarios and trying to
sounds like that is some of the advanced finesse that we have in the scoring. There is kind of paying attention to that along with everything else that's going on.
That's awesome, because
I like it.
Good score systems are what keeps me playing a game.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of self-improvement. I mean, speaking of that, I've been watching streamers of this play, and I've seen people, especially this boss here, Heltron. I saw someone spend it must have been 40 continues on this boss. And typically with games like this, or games in general, you don't see people try more than, my number is the magic 3, and typically with a lot of streamers, I'll see people get to a boss or something and they try 3 times, and then they get frustrated and they start blaming the game or something other than what they're doing. But this game is very clearly communicated, and the hitboxes are so finely tuned that the frustration levels are very low, and I have yet to see somebody even struggling get to the point where like, I'm done with this game, I can't do this. You know, they'll push through, and when they do it, it feels really good. And you're taking all that knowledge that you learn, you know, you're getting your ass kicked, but if you're taking in that knowledge and you're figuring out why, what did I do wrong? The next time you fight the boss, you have so much knowledge because you pushed so hard to beat it, that when you go back, you know, you take that knowledge in and you end up kicking its ass. And that's really what the game is about. It's about self-improvement and seeing how far you can take your own skills. And if you put the time in, you know, you can get scores that you would previously thought were just impossible or completely out of your reach, which is really the fun part about it.
Here you actually see like this actual shmup pattern right there.
Yeah, this boss in the alpha and the beta had crazy bullet patterns, and people were really complaining, so they toned it down a little bit.
Yeah, you took part in the beta, didn't you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I was in the alpha and the beta, and that boss specifically, you know, you could see him dashing and he would, you know, release a little volley of bullets. But in the alpha and the beta, instead of a small volley, it was these massive rings of bullets. And every time he would dash, so the screen was constantly full of bullets in the first couple of phases. And a lot of people were just really having an issue with it. So they decided to tone that down. Even though it's still difficult, it's not as bad as it was.
The game gets a hell of a lot harder though. If you ever lose your power-ups, it's very easy to keep dying. I think that's why people get like stuck on the bosses. You lose all your things and then you're just trying to kill with the pea shooter. It's a completely different kind of challenge. But if you can overcome that, then beating with the power-ups should be a piece of cake when you get a full run going.
Yeah, I guess we didn't discuss death, did we? Talk about how death is handled.
Yeah.
So what happens on death is you lose your shield, obviously, and then you lose a random power-up, and it could be your sub-weapon, or it could be, you know, any of the main weapons besides your shield, of course, because that's lost arbitrarily on death. And then you also lose 3x to your multiplier. So basically, when you die, if you were to continue, you start fresh with no power-up. So if you continue on a boss, you know, you basically have, it's compounded. It's way harder because not only, you know, you have to start the boss the level over again and kill all the enemies before the boss spawns, but you have no power-ups, and you just have this standard shot that doesn't have a whole lot of range. You have a single dash. So that's really why a lot of people, if they continue on a boss, it kind of leads to that, you know, little chain of continues, and then, you know, but that's what the game's encouraging you to do, is to get better over time so you won't have to, you know, continue on the boss.
Yeah, did you have anything to say, Cream? Because my apologies for interrupting you earlier.
I don't know. I was going to say something about, like, who the hell only has 3/4? Like, yeah. Boring people, that's who.
You gotta pay to play.
Well, you buy the game for what? I mean, how much is this game anyway right now? For picking
it was $20 full price. I think on Steam for a bit it was, I want to say it was $15.99, maybe 20% off.
Yeah, that's a great deal. I mean, to me, this should be a full retail price, honestly. Like, it's just,
yeah, I mean,
oh my god,
you're getting a lot for $20. You know, you could reduce the game and say, you know, oh, this is a 45-minute game, and I've seen reviews say things like that, but you know, you can reduce anything to that. You know, if you really want to be technical and say, you know, some guy speed ran this 40-hour game in 10 hours, you're going to call it a 10-hour game? No. You know, I mean, there's you come back to it. And, you know, I myself, between the alpha, beta, and the full version, I have probably over 200 hours in this game now, which for something that, you know, only has 6 levels.
Regardless, yeah, I mean, regardless of the fact that it is a console game, I mean, it definitely feels like an arcade game, and you want to keep playing it like over and over, and it doesn't even matter when you have the game, you can just keep on playing, right? So it's great that you can actually find that balance, even with not even in a true arcade setting.
I play arcade games for hundreds of hours, so it's totally my thing.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to that self-improvement, you know, how far do you want to take your skill set? And the really fun thing about this is Resogun didn't have it, but the replay system is in here. So, if you see a score that's like, whoa, how the hell did they get 1 billion points or whatever? You can watch the replay, and while not all of it's going to make sense, you're going to be able to at least watch that and say, okay, well, this is how he kills the boss, or these are where the secrets are. And you're going to see these little things that you can work into your own game. Sometimes I'll watch a replay of someone I'm competing with, and there's certain things that I still prefer the way I do it myself because I'm more comfortable with it, or I think it's just more efficient. And then there's certain things that I see, I'm like, wow, that's a really neat way to approach that situation, or this sub-weapon, has more properties than I thought it did. So you can go back and kind of relearn your own strategies and mix and.
It's so great that they have the replays because not everyone's gonna come over and watch STG Weekly to get the info. So it's like that's gonna really. Well, yeah, they should. That's really gonna help everyone basically get better at the game and establish and kind of grow that scoring mentality, which is
and that's
really
one
fucking
of
awesome.
The reasons. And I've always said is it would be really interesting to see what the leaderboards would look like without the replay system, because you have certain people that are able to pioneer the level like this. Somebody found all the secrets, somebody found a way to get more points in this area, or a way to chain the combo. Because when the beta and the alpha were launching, we were scrambling to who's going to get the full combo in the level, and that was like the big threshold. Hey, this guy got the full combo, so now I'm going to work on it myself. So yeah, the replays really are. It's an excellent way to encourage people to improve their score, and it couldn't be any more clear or apparent when you watch it for with your own eyes.
By the way,
the replays, people have been learning the strategies really quickly now, though. You can in the last the game has been out for a week. People have been watching each other's replays, learning all kinds of tricks really quickly. Strategies against bosses, finding all the secret build things, and so on. It's been really fast just because of the replays.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the level leaderboards, and you got a score of say 30-something million, and the variance between first and second place is as little as 8,000 points. So we're getting to the point now where we're almost hitting a theoretical max on some of these levels, and it's really coming down to really fine-tune things like destroying certain parts of the environment for just minimal point gains, and those over the course of the run, when your multiplier's higher, that it adds up to get you that first place, or whatever leaderboard you're trying to reach.
You were saying, Cream?
I really like the music in this game. It's like synthwave, and I listen to synthwave all the damn time because it's good stuff.
Oh yeah, Adi Pulkkinen is quite the composer. Very good.
So I like it.
Enforcer Prime now.
Yeah, okay, this boss is awesome. Yeah, you guys can go ahead and talk about this one.
He's
I'm just
throwing
gonna
ninja
say
stars.
I really like the shuriken attack.
Yeah, that's sick.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, here come the shurikens. Whee!
So you have a jump that you can use to get over bullets, I guess.
Well, the dashing mechanic, yeah. When you dash, you're completely invincible. So
kind of reminds me of I think what was it? Neo Contra had a similar thing.
And I forget if that game had a dash or not. I gotta actually replay that at some point.
It did, or it had a flip you could use to.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
the flip, yeah. I always loved.
Pretty similar.
That's one of the staples of the Housemarque games is the dashing mechanic. Even Super Stardust HD, Dead Nation, Alienation, and
I loved Super Stardust HD.
Yeah, Super Stardust was very pure. I mean, it was very simple. It was almost there are some scoring elements, but for the most part, it's just stay alive and kill, and you'll get a good score. Where the later games, especially Resogun, I think the Resogun scoring system was probably the most hardcore when it came to getting big scores, because you had to purposely save humans until the very end of the level, and you're constantly micromanaging, the UFOs coming to try and steal them. Where this game, it's a little more immediate and organic to the level itself, where it's not about saving things, it's about managing a flow and dealing with so many layers at the same time. So
yeah,
and that's what gives it a more immediate feel. I mean, you have levels in this game that are than 10 seconds long, so to be able to pace that with secrets and humans and all those other kind of things it's really challenging as a developer. And this game, they nailed it. This game it's so much fun. It really is. I love it to bits.
And Gotta say, shout outs to Jewfly for that no death clear there. That's something.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Jewfly doesn't mess around. Jewfly, like I say, follow Jewfly. He's fun to watch, and his playstyle is very aggressive. So you can see, like, a lot of these bosses, he's killing them pretty fast before they even have time to really cause any issues. And here you go as well, like, his combo, 312x combo, 624,000 times.
Yeah, Jesus.
100. He just got, 62 million points.
So was he also an alpha or beta tester?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you got a little advantage there.
When the alpha came out, the only level that we had to was the forest.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I believe it was later in the alpha or in the beta where they added the ice level in the fire world as well.
How long were you guys playing these early builds until we got this release?
The alpha, I think, and the beta were up for about 2 weeks each, and the alpha was PC only, and then the beta was a few weeks on the PS4 and the PC as well. I myself, when the original level,
so we're talking only like a couple months ago then.
Yeah, a couple months ago is when we actually had access to, the forest and the first few
Okay,
levels.
yeah, I'm kind of remembering this now actually a little bit. Okay.
And the final beta testing session ended on the 6th of June, and the game launched on the 20th. So, those 2 weeks for me, just waiting, I'm sitting there like, is it out yet? Is it out yet? And we're in a Discord, and I'm sure if Craig's here, he can link the Discord. And if you guys want to join it, you're welcome to do so. It's a little community. It's a Housemarque Discord. It's not specifically for Nex, but right now it's obviously popping with Nex. So yeah, you're welcome to join in. It's a cool crowd. I mean, the developers are there. If you have feedback or any issues with bugs, you can link those things. And these guys are extremely receptive. We've given
and they're
suggestions.
really responsive as well, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, it's really rare that when you do a beta, like I'm in the Gran Turismo beta on PS4 right now. I couldn't hope to influence that game's development or, give the director, a direct message and actually go back and forth with them personally. We're here, I'm literally talking to the director of the game, Harry, at times, and, the people who really matter and the people who are, this is their baby. And, it's really fun to be able to have a conversation with them and talk about the game and just games in general. I mean, they're good people, and it's very.
And there's Craig Shepherd in the Discord in the chat right now. So he's one of the people to thank behind this game. So big shout outs to him, man. You lot did great.
Yeah, we were hoping to have Henry from Housemarque on the episode. Would you want to talk to us a little bit about that? QBalls, do you know a bit about Henry?
Yeah. Henry. The way I got to know the team in general was when Resogun came out. We were streaming it a little bit. My buddy Joe Phoenix, he was the first person to reach Hero on Resogun, and him and I have always played games together. And we were kind of scratching our heads when Resogun came out, trying to figure out the scoring system. And he was streaming it one night, and somebody popped in with the handle bassist, spelled in kind of a funny way. And we were playing the game, and he's like, kind of dropping these weird kind of things that didn't really sound like it. Almost, I could tell at one point he was a developer,
Okay.
say these weird things like, how are you liking the game? Or, hey, that's what we tried to do. And when he said something like that, I'm like, wait a minute, are you a developer? And he said, yeah, I worked on it. And, we got to know him over time. And he's
so
one of the
cool.
quality assurance testers. And we became good friends personally, and played a lot of games together, and it was really fun at that point getting to know someone. That's the cool thing about Twitch, right? Is you're gonna meet a lot of cool, like-minded people, and every so often, if you play a game like this, a smaller game, you're gonna get the people who make it. They're gonna stop in and ask you, what's going on. It's super fun for them to watch people play this stuff. I mean, it's like watching somebody look at a painting you've done or something. You put all this work and effort into a game. And
I feel like we're finally in like the modern era of like what really an arcade game in 2017 should look like here, and it's crazy. Let's imagine like back. I mean, like imagine like back in the day you're playing like I don't know some Konami beat 'em up or something, and like the fucking guy like the developer comes up behind you and is like talking to you like, oh, you're trying to figure this shit out. Like we're actually that's like a reality now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it
that would
really
be
is.
hilarious, though, if the developer came up behind you and started laughing at you because you couldn't figure out like the secret to get a high score.
Trolling the players all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in the 80s in the arcades or whatever, you know, you might come across the guy who has the top score at the arcade or something, but, you know, every so often you would see somebody stuck at the machine and, you know, they've been playing the game for over an hour and, you know, there's a little crowd around them or something like, hey, you know, he's going to flip Donkey Kong or he's going to, you know, he's going to beat this world record score.
Or like that secret boss in Mortal Kombat that was like absurdly esoteric to trigger.
Noob Saibot or Ermac? Or
yeah. It was like, I don't even remember it anymore, but it was just absurdly esoteric and like nobody knew how to do it except like a few people. And it was just one of those things like only the developer knew.
Yeah, I mean, just the level of, you know, now you have people that can data mine games and, you know, literally break open the code to find things that otherwise, you know, might take years, if not longer, to figure out. You know, you have this community aspect where even this game, you know, you have 50 people, like-minded people that are putting their heads together at the same time in the same place. So, you know, you have so much more experimentation back and forth, and it leads to, you know, a lot earlier and better discoveries of, you know, say the scoring system or where the secrets are, and where, you know, say 20 years ago, unless you had a magazine or something, or, you know, there was no hope that you were ever gonna, you know, peel back all these layers and see, you know, see exactly what the game has in store. So.
Kind of going back to the replay feature, like I think it really helps to, like, for a person to see the leaderboard and see lots of scores that are high and also close to each other, and not just like a leaderboard where it's like you have like the outlier scores and then just like everyone else. It's just like, I think sometimes when I see that, it's like, or when a player sees that, they're like, oh, okay, that guy, he's on another level. I'm never gonna be like that. But when you have all the scores and the capability for everyone to kind of get to a closer level, like I feel like that's just gonna do so much for the game in terms of building people like understanding it, like, you know, to play for a score and that type of thing. And that's really what this is all about.
It brings out the competition for sure.
That's really what this is all about. So, you know, so we can possibly get like more games like this as time goes on.
I hope so. If you want more games like this, you got to buy it.
Because I mean, this is fucking insane.
You got to support it. So yeah, this is the 5th boss, the Architect. And this is where most people, if you watch them streaming, this is where most people, if they got this far in one credit, this is probably where they're going to drop it. You can see that you have layers from each side. You got these 4 turrets. And I forgot to mention over the course of this level is you're going to see these really dark purple beams, these laser beams. And the dark beams are actually, you can't dash through them. They have, you know, they'll kill you no matter what. So you have no invincibility frame. So you can see that this turret on the right-hand side actually has the dark beam. And what Supa did there is, since laser beams have a lot of inertia, they can't turn quickly. You can see that before he went to this phase and before he started attacking the boss, he moved all the way to the right-hand side of the screen to force that laser to fire to the right. So that way it would buy him a lot of time. You can see he's going to do it again right here. This is a smart play. And that way, you know, the inertia of the beam, it's nice and slow, so he bought himself extra time. And then you can see here, the second time, they changed the layers where there's only one safe spot to move with 3 dark beams and then 1 standard one. And then this is the final phase here where you can see now.
Damn, that legit dodging, yo. There's some legit dodging in there. Nice.
Supa, I bet you, Supa probably had a cup of Joe this game. He's a coffee fan. So, like, one of the major differences on this boss is layers-wise, it's the same on every difficulty, but the speed, you can see these bullets that are raining down are much faster on this difficulty. As well as there was an overhead laser. You could see that the ground itself had pink, kind of almost like a hot fire or something. And that's another, there's a lot of layers on that boss that just make it very difficult, but you can take out the turrets. So you can kind of remove that. So if you take out the turret on the right or the turret on the left, you can disable the, you know, the spray patterns or the laser or whatever you're more comfortable with dodging. You probably want to remove the other layer that gives you problems. And then you can see again, boom, 349x combo, 698,000. You know, he's getting, and his score, you know, just keeps exploding every level. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
So that was hype. That wasn't the end of the game. We're still in the same thing here.
No.
Okay.
If you play on experienced or harder, again, you're going to get 6 levels. And since he's still on 1 credit, he still is eligible to fight Nex Machina if he's able to get there. Which I'll give you a spoiler: he will get there.
This score inflation kind of reminds me of like Dodonpachi or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a lot like that. If you ever drop your chain, your run basically dies. It's all about the
Yeah.
chain, keeping it going. And he did drop the chain, so maybe I'm wrong.
He did.
just didn't
Well,
drop
the
it.
way it works though is if you do drop the chain on the level, like say if I get the 350 combo and I drop the combo halfway through the level, at the end of the level I'm still gonna get the credit for having a 350x chain. But the next level it's gonna be, so I guess in other words to say it is, you're always gonna get the highest number. You know, say if I get 350, drop the combo halfway and end the level with a combo of 30, I'm gonna get the combo for 350 instead. So you can see now, like he's trying to work his way back. He's at 51. So if he dropped the combo at 51 at the end of this level, he's gonna get, you know, the credit for a 51 combo, if that makes sense.
Okay. So maybe not as much lost as you may think there.
Well, I mean, see, that's the thing. At one point, you know, he's raised the stakes. You know, now that he's gotten this score, if he wants to beat this score, he's got to chain farther than he did last time or die less. So at one point,
that's a lot to
you're
ask
going to
for.
raise your. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. I mean, you think about the logistics of getting through a master run with Revenge Bullets and getting a full combo of humans, never dropping the chain, and then going into hero and doing it again in an even harder environment. I mean, we could be potentially looking at years before someone's able to pull off that run. And no one, even to this day, has done a, you know, quote unquote perfect Resogun run, and that's been out for 4 years. So these guys definitely leave
a good game
lot
right
of,
there.
Yeah, I mean that's why these guys really get their craft, is they understand what takes or what makes the long-term game important and fun at the same time, and you know, gives it some mystique. You know, if you had something where somebody had the full combo and master a week after the game came out, that's not nearly as cool as if it takes, you know, a community putting their heads together a long time. So that's a big goal of theirs, I would imagine, development-wise.
Let's talk a bit more about the pace of the gameplay here and whatnot. I mean, what's going on in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically, at this point, you know, you can see right now he's on S3. S means it's a secret level, so he opened a secret exit to get here. Okay. And the way the game works is when you're fully powered up and when you have maximum amount of lives, any hidden multipliers that are revealed, or not hidden multipliers, but any extra lives that are revealed will instead turn into a multiplier up. So when you're fully powered up, you'll also get a multiplier up when that bar at the bottom left rolls over. So really, progression score-wise, like ideally you never want to take any hits and you want to find all the secrets. That way you're constantly getting, and since he's already at the maximum multiplier, you know, you're probably thinking, why would you want to get an MP? You know, why would you want to get a multiplier token if your multiplier is already at 100, the maximum? And what they do is, instead of just giving you nothing for picking up the MP if it's already at 100, you get the human value. So you can see that when he picked up that human, he's getting 10,000 points, but when he picks up the multiplier icon, he's also getting 10,000 points. So if your multiplier is at 100x and you're fully powered up, just think of an extra life or an MP icon as another human in your combo, but it won't add to your human combo. It just gives you the same value of points. So it's just more kind of score chasing at that point.
Like on that previous level, he used the environment to like hide from some of the bullets and the action that was going on.
Yeah, that level actually has a dark beam that kind of sweeps, and you'll see that that's a theme on this world, is the dark beam sweeping back and forth and forcing you to kind of retreat to a cover. And then right there, he just unlocked the secret human. This level, otherwise with only 2 humans, is really hard to chain. So sometimes you have to use the secret humans and the bonus time that they give to be able to, you know, get through and, you know, keep that combo going.
I think shooting the walls in environment give you some points too, so I think it was doing that there. He was shooting the walls, so there's always some little things like that to optimize. Like you might do the level really well, but did you shoot the walls? Like did you kill the enemies so fast you can shoot the walls and stuff? I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, some of the levels, it literally has come down to environment. You know, even if it gives, say, a couple hundred points times multiplier, it adds up over the course of the run. If you kill 10 things that worth 1,000 apiece, you know, that's 10,000 points. And like I say, some of the level variances are less than 10,000 points. So, you know, maybe I didn't shoot enough trees, or, you know, enough of those blue kind of gel cubes or whatever they are.
Shooting trees. I love it.
Yeah, you gotta be a forest deconstructor. So
like
here's
Space
another
Area
level,
bonus stage, just like fuck trees. That's how I always say.
You get on Uriah and you're taking out the trees. And...
It's like, why are you picking out those trees? Anyway.
So he's coming to the end now. He's at 613, and then you'll see like there's these really tall enemies, and they're really neat. I actually think it'll happen. Is they pick up a human and they kill the human really fast. Their hand just like energizes them, and when the human dies, they actually throw the energized human at you. It looks like a laser beam or like a laser grenade or something. It's so badass. I didn't even notice that they threw the humans at you until the other night. I was watching somebody play it, and I was like, wow, that's such a cool touch. And if you don't destroy those guys immediately, if you shoot them enough, what happens is you blow their legs off, and then the upper half of their body will crawl around on their arms to try and kill you. It looks so awesome when they do that. It's a really cool touch. But yeah, here we go. He's boosting in the 615, and this is the final boss that most people will see and have to deal with. This is the Supreme AI. And he's going to take a death here because of the way the lasers, you can see that starfish thing really makes it tough. Just takes away so much of the real estate in the screen. You know, you have this thing, you know, those little discs firing bullets in 4 directions, and then you have, you know, laser beams all over the place. So here we go. Supreme AI, he did it. Are we live? Are we still up? Uh-oh. Can you hear me, Akis?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, no, yeah, that's no problem. We had a little dead air there, so... But,
yeah, just focusing on this cool boss, I guess.
Yeah, I was saying, I was commenting, yeah, this boss is fucking awesome looking. I like the head bobbing.
Mesmerizing. So yeah, here you can see this like rotating hexagon around the player, and how it works is you can see that these ring lasers are coming, and on the 6th ring laser, that's when the smaller hexagon closes in around you. So as a player, you want to kind of keep a count like 1, 2,
okay,
and then
wow.
3, and then here comes the 4th one, here comes the 5th one, and now he's going to have the circle close in. So yeah, if you're playing this boss and you're wondering when that hexagon closes, it's on the 6th ring laser. So you can do what Super does, which is stay far away and use 2 dashes to dodge them both, or you can get a little closer and use 1 dash to dodge them both in one. So he's coming up at the end here.
Man, this is so climactic. This is sick, like the music and everything, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, this was a really special moment. The music, like you said, it's pretty much perfect for the situation.
Now it gets real, though. It's not over.
Now it gets real, indeed. Yeah. And this is to me, this is the coolest part of the game coming up. You can see he just destroyed the Supreme AI. You got all this destruction, and if you're playing
spoilers,
normally,
everyone.
Yeah, if you're playing normally, the music would just end. But now, since he's done this, you know, you get the special music kicking in and full power.
Holy hell!
It's almost like Super Metroid or something, where you know you kill the final Metroid and then you get this ultimate gun. So now you get this special laser beam specifically for Nex Machina. This is the titular boss right here.
So fucking sick.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, giant face boss. And yeah, it's one of the things, Eugene Jarvis games, especially Smash TV, was always known for having, a giant face boss, like the game show host or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
that was always so ridiculous in Smash TV.
Creepy,
It's just very memorable, right? I mean, it's like if you ask anybody what they remember about Smash TV, they're going to say big money, big prizes, and they're going to say,
In that last boss, it takes like a billion hits.
A billion hits, and then his boxer, he gets down to the point where he's in his boxer shorts and stuff, and it's goofy. Where here, this is, it's the same kind of spectacle, but it's very serious, Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is this boss is actually the announcer of the game. This is Miss Housemarque, as the fans, as we lovingly call her. We always thought of Miss Housemarque as like the secretary, and she's the one who's like, laser upgrade, like so. It brings this totality to the game where this person that's been announcing your structure and your progress through the game is actually the one that you have to kill at the end.
Okay, I just noticed that. Wow, crazy.
Wait, really? Wow.
And it also, like, this is so crazy where, like, since she's the announcer of every game and she's the boss in this game, are all these games connected now? It gives you this kind of weird sense of, like, are all these games in the same universe, and it's all this weird AI program controlled by this robot that you're fighting right now.
It's pretty neat.
Pretty badass stuff, man. And you can see this pattern here is quite something. and
Holy
Super
hell.
does a fantastic job dealing with it. So for this fight, you can move at a normal speed like he's doing right now if you just fire the gun. But if you hold R1, you go into kind of an over mood, which he's doing right now, and you move slowly. So it's almost like, you know, a lot of cave shmups where if you're using the more powerful gun, you move a little slower, which can make dodging certain heavy bullet patterns a little easier because you know, you don't have that full speed where, you know, some of these patterns you want full speed, some of them you don't. But then if you're not using the powered laser, you know, you can see how much health he has. If he was using the powered laser more through the fight, it would most likely be dead by now. Yeah, you can see
Also,
he's fighting through
Ouch.
I'm back, folks.
What happened there?
Aquas, it seemed in a strange twist of fate how you thought that Comcast was gonna kill your internet. It seemed my one took a real nosedive this evening. Thank you very much, Sky.
And that's it. He blew it. He couldn't beat Nex Machina, and that's.
But it said world complete. It has said world complete. What happened? What happened?
It does give you a world complete, but yeah, you don't get the full bonus.
I'm gonna pause the video for a sec. We'll resume.
Sure. Yeah. Give it a pause.
We'll take a moment here. Yeah, it said world complete, but yeah, he didn't actually beat it, eh?
Yep. And if that's the thing, if you're on master difficulty, if you get to that, even say world complete, you know, you blew it. You have to beat Nex Machina.
Crazy. Well, yeah, good shit though. That was amazing. That was some amazing stuff. So I stopped at 51 minutes. We'll resume from there when we're ready.
Okay, yeah, this is going to be a player in the community, Kudo Kazuma, and he's going to be showing off a master difficulty, and master difficulty is quite faster than Resogun, than veteran, and it also has revenge bullets. So when you have revenge bullets, the dynamic of the game, even though it's a simple single layer, it changes the game completely, where you're always having to move laterally to enemies. You can't, you know, if you stand in the same place and kill enemies, or if you're running into an enemy and you kill something, you know, it's just going to instantly kill you with a revenge bullet. So, it's Kazuma.
Gotcha.
I see you there. Yeah, Supa's trying to apologize. Yeah, there's nothing to apologize for. That was still quite the valiant effort.
Yeah, okay, I'll work on that typo. There you go.
But yeah, I wanted to work in, you know, get some people in there for the replay and, you know, show that it's not just one person playing this game at a high level. I mean, you look at the top scores, there's a lot of gangsters playing this game who have, you know, or
gangsters, like Call of Duty gangsters.
Yeah, gang squads. But
got you.
Or something.
And Gianni 2K2 in chat here, he actually just got the best score on hero mode earlier today, I believe. So congrats to him. He got over 2 billion points in the hero loop.
Really popping. Sounds like you guys are going like full ham, full shmup.
Yeah, we're moving quickly. And that's the thing. I mean, you know, 2 weeks ago, we might not have thought some of these scores are possible, but thanks to the replay and thanks to the community aspect, you know, people bounce ideas off of each other and tips and gameplay improvements and stuff. And, you know, you get what you're seeing now, which, you know, for the game only being out for almost 2 weeks, you know, there's a very high skill ceiling already. It's pretty insane. So, yeah, give Gianni a follow, give Zaarock a follow, give Supa a follow.
Give Dentface a follow. Dent's really good.
Yeah, Dent for Face. Even just follow this game on Twitch. You know, it has its own Twitch directory listing now. So if you want to see more of it, and me, like, I love watching people of all skill levels. I like watching the high skill players as much as I like watching someone play it for the first time. Like last night when you were playing at Aquas, it's a treat to watch somebody play it and watch them kind of fumble their way through it first, and then after 30 minutes, it's like you have the general loop of the game down, and you're, you know, playing much better, and it's just fun to watch. Yeah, Crab Milk Mickey as well. Like I say, a
lot of players.
Join the Discord if you can. If Craig wants to link the Discord again, it's a good little group. So, and it doesn't hurt to join another Discord.
Okay,
on top of the 20 or so some people already have.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll wake up sometimes and I'll be marking as red, marking.
All right, so yeah, this is One World, the Techno Forest and Master Difficulty from Kuro Kazuma. Let's check it out from 51 minutes.
Let's do it.
3,
All right.
2, 1, go. Don't forget Mickey. I love that. I love the camaraderie between the you guys. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Rezo buddies, you know, we stuck together for a long time. Like I say, some of these guys, they continue to play the game for years and years. Also, another thing you'll notice about this replay is his bullet color is different. One of the things you can use in the arena mode is you can unlock different bullet colors, which is pretty cool. You know, it's a subtle thing, but some people might prefer, you know, a white or a green bullet or yellow or whatever, you know, to the standard blue. Because this game's main theme is kind of red versus blue. You know, anything red in the environment is something you want to avoid. If we haven't discussed that already, so. But yeah, you can see how much faster Master is. You know, the enemy spawns happen a lot sooner.
So how does this mode unlock?
You have to beat Veteran mode.
Okay.
You don't have to 1cc Veteran mode, but on Veteran you get 10 continues. So when you finish Veteran regardless, you will unlock Master mode as well for single levels too. No one's finished Hero mode yet.
And that's after Master?
Yeah, if you can 1 credit clear, you have to 1 credit clear Hero.
Dang.
Wow.
So no one has finished Hero yet, but the thing is that there's some hints kind of on the leaderboards, especially with the single levels. Like the single levels have a hero leaderboard, which if a single level has a hero leaderboard, that means that if you finish the hero loop, you might be able to choose single levels under the hero environment to do that. But I'm not sure about that because no one's finished hero yet. So, but I'm sure that's.
I think people are really close to doing that, so it'll happen in a couple of days. I mean, Talamon got there.
Yeah, Talamon, Gianni got there, and then. Chat, he's excellent. Zaarock is the first person to reach hero, so give him a big round of applause.
Really sounds like this game needed some type of like official score competition or something for you guys, just for everyone to go crazy and just really push. But it doesn't even sound like that's needed because you guys are fucking insane just playing it nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, Supa, Gianni, these guys are very dedicated. If you beat their score, like they're gonna come for you. Might not be today, might be. It's like a hitman, you know.
Like it.
You got to look over your shoulder for some of these guys. They're gonna be stalking you, and
they want to make it. They want to make it their own and that type of thing. I like that.
I like that hunger.
That
hunger.
They respect and they love that competition, and that's what the spirit of this game is about. It's about, you know, getting better and beating someone if that's what you choose. And like I say, there's real competitive, very skilled gamers playing this game right now. So yeah, buy the game and see if you can beat their scores.
Oh yeah, Master difficulty. You have the return bullets. If you play the other shoot 'em ups, they're like some people call them suicide bullets. Here they're return. Or revenge bullets, I think.
They refer to them as revenge here, yeah.
Yeah, but on Master they're like single aimed bullets, so you sort of learn to like stream the bullets. You strafe whatever you're shooting. You strafe whatever you're shooting. Like you really get that in your head, and then Master becomes doable. Like that's really the trick. But sometimes you can't just do that. You have to plan your dashes. You're in a corridor. You can't just strafe. You have a wall against you. But
almost
on Hero you get like these this spread shot pattern instead, but mostly you can do the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you're in like a very small space, so you know, strafing or, you know, moving that way, you don't have that luxury, so you kind of have to approach things in a different way. Or one of the tricky things about Master is you have to convince your brain sometimes to stop shooting. You know, when you're playing a twin stick shooter, you're almost constantly shooting a direction. And sometimes on Master, you just simply want to not shoot and move to a safe place, then shoot the enemy so you can dash back to where you were. And you know, that's the thing in Master.
That last room I think is a perfect example, because you have those balls like bouncing around like completely randomly. So if you shoot everything, you'll have bullets coming from every direction. So I feel like in World 1 there's a few rooms like that where it's like if you just shoot everywhere you'll probably die, but if you conserve your shots it gets easier. Here's another one. I think this room is really crazy. I hate this room.
Yeah, this
what do you think about this one, Jimmy?
Yeah, this is the madhouse room for sure. You know, it's this room. You can never plan to do this room the same. That's what's fun about this. Is the dynamic of that room is always different. I mean, I've never done that room where I can say I can repeat that and do it just like I did, you know, the time before. There's always something that, you know, a wrinkle, and a lot of it is because the way the environment is constructed. You know, the way those things are constantly moving in a certain pattern. If you remove a wall that they would bounce off of, then their movement pattern is going to be totally different. So, you know, that's one of the things that you kind of have to keep an eye on. You know, when you have enemies that just bounce off of random walls, if you take out one of the walls, then they're going to move differently if you hadn't have done that.
So it seems like the smart bomb is the weapon of choice for you guys.
Most of the top players are using smart bomb right now. The reason being is because it's very powerful. It eats revenge bullets, and you also get invincibility frames for a short period of time after using it. But there are, I guess we didn't even cover the weapons, but you have the sword, which also eats bullets. But the sword is kind of the, I guess it's the redheaded stepchild right now, so to speak. There's not a lot of love for the sword because it's extremely hard to use. Like, there might be some properties of the sword that we don't know about that might make certain situations better, but it seems like most situations are just harder with the sword, so we're not using that a whole lot. The power shot is excellent as well. The power shot, once charged, will kill any enemy in its path. There could be 100 enemies in the way, and if you hit a power shot, it'll go through literally every single one of them and destroy them. So I see you're at my last replay now.
Okay, do you want to finish talking about that, or the weapons, before we get into your replay?
Yeah,
let's pause again here.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go over the weapon structure.
I didn't want to cut you off on that, and that we have your replay going.
Problem. But yeah, the power shot, once you charge it, you can kind of see, like, there's a wide beam, and then it closes into a single green beam. And when it's ready, you can see the laser turns green, and then it also gives you kind of a cursor to aim. And then when you let go, it fires the shot. Now, when you charge the power shot, you'll see like a circle around your player. And when you fire and release it, it actually discharges that circle, and it'll kill anything in the 360 degree radius. So there's multiple properties there, and as well as it'll give you a few invincibility frames after you fire it. So the power shot is excellent, especially on the later worlds when you have enemies that are more dangerous, that are throwing dark beams at you. You don't have to get close to them with the power shot. It allows you to kind of, you know, take out hordes of enemies with a single blast. And then, if Zaarock wants to cover the others, there's the laser, the rocket launcher, and the detonator.
Sure. All right. The laser, actually, on the last boss, you have that weapon. It's a piercing laser. It slows your movement down, like Jimmy was saying. Even on the true last boss, it pierces enemies. It has a weird ammo mechanic where, like, if you really want to keep shooting it for a while instead of shooting short bursts, you can't shoot it in short bursts. So you just want to clear out a whole bunch of enemies at once. It has its uses, definitely. I don't see people using it, but it's not terrible. It's good against some bosses for sure. It's good against some bosses.
A lot of damage against Yeti Kong, especially. It really wrecks him.
Rocket launcher is like, well, it just does a bunch of splash damage when it hits something. It's just and destroys everything in that area. It's also great against bosses, but these weapons don't have the invincibility frames. I think that's why people like the smart bomb a lot. The power shot has those too. Henry actually told that to me. I didn't know about it, but it has those, so that's interesting. And detonator, I used to use that. Oh yeah, I was in the beta test too. I wasn't in the alpha, I was in the beta, but I used the detonator in the beta all the time. It's like a remote controlled smart bomb. You throw it forward, you can detonate it anytime. It deletes any bullets there, any enemies, they just instantly die. But it is a bit slow to reload. But apparently if you shoot it further, it reloads faster. So using it at long range is rewarded, which is interesting, but I have trouble finding uses for that ability. And what was the last one again? There was one weapon, right? Or was that everything?
I think that's all right.
Jean, just one question. What would you say are the main differences between hero mode and like master mode?
Yeah, master. Hero is faster. So actually, this is last replay is on redline. So hero is basically redline mode. The game gets a lot faster, and then you have a different kind of different kind of suicide bullet pattern, revenge bullet pattern. That's like a wall of bullets. Like it's not a fast aim bullet. It causes like a wall to appear on the playfield, like a slow moving pattern like you'd have in a bullet hell game. And you either have to dash through that or destroy it somehow, or just not deal with that area. I think it's interesting because like then when you kill some enemies, it causes like the playfield to shift. It's like, okay, I can't go there.
Okay.
So it's pretty neat.
So it's purely like twitch reflexes at that point.
Yeah, you can, because I feel like I like that because you can react to those slower bullets. The thing with Masters, those bullets are really fast. So if there's an enemy right next to you, you shoot it, you just die. Like you aren't gonna like react to that bullet. But on Hero, it's like, oh, there's this slow bullets hitting my way. What do I do? So you can use some shmup skills there or something. I don't know.
Sure.
It's pretty fun.
What's your thought on the challenge mode? Because I know there's supposed to be like various challenges in the game. One challenge I remember hearing was something like beat a level without even moving, something like that.
Yeah, there's feats, and then there's trophies / achievements. And one of the achievements was to beat a level without moving or firing a gun. Actually, no, I think there was one without firing your gun, and there's another one without you can fire your gun. And it took a little ingenuity because we were trying to do it, and then we realized the only way to get one of the trophies is you have to play local co-op, and you have to have the other player shoot everything while the other player just stands still, so you kind of protect them, and then that unlocked the trophy. And then the game also has a feat system where, there's an individual menu that, there's a feat for beating a certain level under a certain time threshold, or the really, really hard ones are save all humans on hero difficulty, which that's going to be a tall order. And then there's one for beating, I believe it's beating hero without losing a death or without taking a death. So, I mean, you're going to see some of these feats that are going to take quite some time to get, and it's going to take a very skilled and dedicated player to do so. So
it's nice to have some like really long-term challenges like that, because I feel like the last thing you want is like people do everything in 1 week and then there's a couple people going for score, but then there's nothing else to do. But it's not the case here. There's a lot of stuff to do. That's cool.
Yeah, it's always cool to give the community some long-term, really hardcore goals. And yeah, they didn't want to include that in the standard trophy set because sometimes you get trophy hunters that, certain people won't pick up a game these days because the trophies are too hard or they're not attainable. It's like, why would I get this game if I can't get the platinum trophy? So they made concessions there, which it's kind of the fault of the gamer being a little entitled to an extent. Wow, my trophies are too hard. But, that's why they have the feat system in there because, I think that the people who want the feats probably don't care about the trophies, and the people who care about the trophies probably don't care about the feats. So it kind of works for both, types of gamers. And that's a good thing, really, in the end.
Yeah. All right, so we're on to the last video here. And is the red line flare path, is this in hero mode then? Or what is this?
This is actually one of the arena challenges. And what the
okay.
The arena is basically just it's self-contained levels with variants on the gameplay. Like some of them, will have revenge bullets. Some of them will be in a high speed mode, which is what Redline is. Some of them, it's a caravan mode where you only have 4 minutes to get as many points as you can. So these are where like you can really optimize. You don't have a 45-minute arcade run. It's self-contained. Only you can see I'm getting through this level in 4 minutes and 49 seconds. So
get some score attack type of things going on
it's
here.
It's a score attack, and you're going to go full blast. You'll see here when I'm going through this level, I'm being extremely aggressive with the spawns, and especially the boss as well. And since the time bonus is a big factor, I mean, you can see I did it in 4:49, which is an extremely fast time for this level, and I still didn't even get the maximum time bonus of 100,000. So there's still some more room to grow here, so to speak. But yeah, if you want to get going.
Yeah, I know
Zaarock has some hero footage as well. I don't know if that would be possible.
Yeah, we'll see. We're getting pretty in there here. I'm at 57:15, by the way, on the video. If you guys want to pop onto that timestamp. All right, I'll assume you guys are ready.
Yeah, ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun checking this out. Digging it, but yeah, let's back to your replay here.
Yeah, I mean,
immediately I can tell this is fast. Holy crap, man!
Yeah, this is my bread and butter. I love the red. It's like I love the speed and just the precision it takes to get through the levels that much faster. You know, that's the beauty of an analog twin stick game, is that with practice you can really nail down your movements, and you can see that. You know, I'm just attacking the spawns as they happen, and I'm not wasting any time or waiting for them to come to me. Rather, when you have that smart bomb, that gives you that ability to just be extremely aggressive, combined with the dash explosions, where instead of hanging back and just kind of destroying things as they come my way, I'm, you know, being very deliberate and moving into them, or, you know, creating situations to kind of pull enemies together before I activate the smart bomb. You know, that way I'm, you know, killing more hordes, you know, more quickly, because it really does come down to the time bonus. But yeah, the red line, I think it's 25% faster than veteran, and I believe it's the same speed as the hero loop, but I could be wrong on that because I haven't gotten to the hero loop yet. But it's just a really fun way to play, because if you were to practice redline mode, say for an hour or two, and then go back to the regular speed of the game, you will feel like you're in the Matrix. You will go into the level, and it'll look like it's in slow motion. So if you play redline for a little while and then go into a single level, you know, at the normal speed, it's just a good way to kind of train your brain to understand what's going on. And you can see I'm constantly using the triple dash explosion to just like you know, constantly, you know, flowing and just, you know, destroying what's ever there.
When you do a triple dash, are you vulnerable in between each dash at any point, or can you chain them like?
Well, you can
completely?
chain dashes, and you can chain the invincibility. But the tricky thing is you do get a few invincibility frames during the recovery of your dash. But if you're not quick enough to start the next dash, you will take a hit.
Okay,
so it takes practice
there.
to.
Cool.
Yeah, it takes practice to only give a minimal amount of release on the button. So you're gonna, you know, dash, release, dash again, and then, you know, it's going to take you a little practice to kind of work in, you know, the long and the short dashes as well. Sometimes you want to use a short dash if there's an enemy nearby to dash explosion. Sometimes you want to use a longer dash. So
I saw you right there, just like dash right into the wall just to gain some invincibility. It looked like. Almost.
Yeah. Sometimes, you know, if you're overwhelmed or if you're out of dashes, you just want to kind of move into an area that's just safe, so you can buy yourself a little breathing room.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that, you know, fairly often, and like it's so fast.
Oh yeah, chaining humans on redline is easier, right, Jimmy?
It is, yeah. The human speed timer is still on the default speed, so even though the game's sped up, you know, you have more time, so to speak, because, you know, the levels, even though the human timer is the same, the levels are actually being played at an accelerated pace. So you can move and get to the humans there even than normal. So.
It's a nice risk and reward. You like the game is harder, but at the same time the scoring is a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's a little more forgiving. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? And the game's a little tougher to play, but it's a little more lenient with the human timer. I'm not sure if that will change, if they will modify the timer to meet the game's speed, which would make it, you know, that much harder. So, and then in the arena mode, you can see that every so often I'm picking up coins. Coins have no effect on score, but that's how you're able to buy the bullet color. You can buy different colors for your character's helmet. You can buy different helmets. You can buy different body armor suits and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then you can also buy concept art. So it's a good little way of, like, you know, encouraging players. You know, if you're not hardcore into the scoring system, you can, you know, have some fun with your character customization. You know, that's something that casually and hardcore, like I myself love the customization. I like being able to change my character. It's just a fun little way to, you know, keep things fresh.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's like a mood ring. Sometimes I want my bullets to be blue. Sometimes I might want them to be yellow. And I offered a suggestion. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I really want to see them add the Jarvis Bullets, where if you're not sure what a Jarvis bullet is, but, you know, say in Narc, when you fire your gun, your bullet is it's constantly changing colors. So if we ever see like a rainbow bullet that is constantly shifting color,
that would be really nice.
That would be pretty neat. As well as like certain environments, like since you're fighting red and blue, like my my bullet is red. Like certain levels have, like this level's very red themed, so it might not be in the best interest to have a red bullet. Some levels are very blue, so a red bullet might be good because it's very easy to spot. So on like a full arcade run, you know, something as simple as a bullet color might be more important than you think, just for your own readability. So, and you can see on Heltron, I'm using the triple dash and I'm getting completely in his face. Like I'm not giving him any time, and you can see that I killed him super fast, and then I do my mashing when I do the little funny quick steps there. So that's Redline, and that's the highest score so far in that as well. So if you're a score chaser, then
good stuff.
There you go.
Congrats.
That's a really fun mode. I just really took some pride in that one and kind of went nuts. So
nice.
I actually kept hitting the cheater flag on that level. I was getting a score, kept deleting my thing from the leaderboard, so I had to have the dev team remove that flag, so I was able to get this score. Anything over 40 million was actually deleting the score.
Dang.
So, and and I did it on stream. The first time I think I got 40.6 or something. And I did it on stream, so I had proof, you know, and then they removed the flag and I was able to get the 42.6, which is pretty nice.
Okay, so
super fun game, man.
We got maybe one more video to watch here.
Don't watch the whole thing though, just a couple minutes or something, just to show the mode, I guess. Because
okay.
It's a whole run, so it's like super long. You don't
okay,
have time
so we're gonna show off. We're gonna show a little bit of the hero mode then. Themes. Actually, I need to set up this in the stream. Shouldn't take much. Oh, you have a timestamp on that video?
Yep. Yeah, that's where it starts, the hero loop. So.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely show off hero. It's a really interesting change. You can see the revenge bullets are much different than they are in the standard master loop, as well as the game speed being significantly faster.
Yeah, the game speed increase is really fun. In arcade mode setting too, not just
someday
arena. So.
Zaarock,
yeah, you'll get there. Don't worry.
Zaarock is extremely talented.
I'm just getting it ready here.
That's the cool thing about Hero too, is there's a lot of mystique to it. You know, you have to 1 credit clear master to even get a shot, and if you say you die on the first level of Hero, like that's it. You know, you got to start all the way from square one on master to even get a crack at it again.
Yeah, man. The first time I got to hero, that almost happened to me. Like I just started chain deathing at the start.
Yeah.
And then just came back. That happened to Telemon too. I watched a little bit of his stream. He almost died at the start, and then he's like, "No, I'm not gonna die here."
Yeah. And there's enough secret levels or secret lives throughout the levels to kind of bounce back. Also, very cool thing to note is that when you beat master and 1 credit clear to hero, you get this awesome loading screen. This is exclusive to heroes, so like this is a really badass piece of character art. Yeah, isn't that badass? Like that's just a little touch. That's a very small thing, but it's in my opinion, it's super cool to see stuff like that. You know, that your hard work, even though it's a simple picture, like it's exclusive to you and you earned it, so it's pretty badass.
Yeah, I just like how sharp it looks. Red and black is a good combo.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Sold. All right, ready.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
3, 2, 1, go.
So I'll let Zaarock. He should definitely explain what's going on here because he's the man. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I beat the TLB on master, and then this happens. Oh yeah. I don't think we ever showed the credits, but the credits in this game are pretty cool. They have a nice credit song. But you beat master, you get the credits roll, then you get this. The video quality is probably pretty bad because this was a stream recording, but you get these spread shot bullet, revenge bullets. There's too many terms now. I'm just used to suicide bullets. But
they're a little lazy. You can see they're kind of slow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here I was trying to get the weapon here, but then for some reason it wasn't there. I don't know what the hell happened. And then I died. But there's a secret room in that level with a weapon, and if you want to play safe, you pick up your weapon there. You bait those enemies to follow you, and then do that.
What happened actually upon reviewing your thing is you actually blew up the box early, and you could see like if you blow up a box or if there's an MP icon off screen, it'll actually give you a flashing blue and white arrow. And
oh, that's nice.
it's actually solid, but then when it starts flashing, that means that it's going to be disappearing soon. So that's one of the things that's going on.
But yeah, Smart Bomb definitely strong in this. Smart Bomb definitely strong in this mode because you got those big clusters of bullets. You can just destroy it all with the dash explosion Smart Bomb.
Yeah, and the noticing with some of the revenge bullets here, you have to be really sharp with your dashes here.
Yeah, for sure. Like you can't dodge that.
Waves.
Yeah, it's like you can't dodge that. You just dash through it. But I feel like that's good though, because it means you sort of have to dodge normally too, because you run out of your dashes if you use them all. So you have to use everything at your disposal. But I don't know if it's actually harder than Master though. There's some debating to that, because the Master suicide bullets are pretty nasty, and then we'll have to see
bullets are very
what
fast
people do
in comparison. But I mean, you can see how much real estate is taken away from the player with the hero bullets. You have this wide curtain of bullets instead of this sharp pattern. So just strafing slowly from one direction to the other isn't enough. And then you have this slow speed. It's like this lazy bullet just kind of slowly cruising along, and the dynamic has changed once again.
Yeah.
That's really the big trick.
It's fun. I hope more people get to play hero. I'm guessing they'll add arena modes with this kind of bullets too.
For sure.
Get to try it out.
And in the alpha and the beta, they actually had an arena challenge, which had a very similar style of these bullets, but the difference is they started slow, and then over time they would speed up. So here, where they maintain a constant speed, and then they eventually self-destruct once they get to the other side. So
I noticed the bosses have some small changes on hero too. They have it on all difficulties, but I was surprised that they're changed on hero. The game the speed is increased, but there's some small little things like Heltron's lasers are tighter, so they have like no space, and then it's hard to notice some of them. There's no huge differences, but it's nice to see that they're trying to like put stuff like that in. It's like every mode is different.
Yeah, it's super cool that these guys are willing to create a difficulty and balance it for maybe, it's got to be less than 1% of people are ever going to see this difficulty. So to design something for a super small subset of players and give them, a level of challenge that is going to only appeal to them is pretty telling. The passion that these guys have for their own audience, and it's a game for everybody. You have the rookie mode for players that are looking to just chill out, and then you have something that like this that just takes a very special player to even see it in the first place. So
yeah, it's nice to see I think they're intentionally like trying to appeal to their core audience to keep playing their games. I think that's really nice. Like even if that's not the biggest number of players, they're trying to. Yeah. People keep playing.
Good to stay
people
true.
Keep competing for scores, and then like keep those challenges going. So there's always something more to do in your game. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean this was their first self-published title, and it's a total love letter and passion project to these kind of games, and it just really goes to show, with the total package of what they did, that they were trying to appeal to, us. It's a very small subset, but at the same time, they're trying to make money, and
they want to make us be more people, at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's really very few developers that are willing to carry time. You look at the way games are moving, and everything's online co-op with RPG elements and skill trees and all these modern conventions, and to make a game like this that defies so many of those conventions that are more or less mandatory and mandated by marketing executives and accountants and stuff that are, the bean counters that are forcing developers to, add in all these things. To get a game like this that's so pure, it's really special, man. It really is. And, there's other developers making shoot 'em ups, but they just don't have this level of fidelity that you see in these games. And that's why I love Housemarque so much, is that you always know you're going to get a technical tour de force, a good scoring system, really good mechanics. And this game, it's just so smooth. If you play it in your hands, I know you comment last night in 10 minutes, you're just saying that the controls feel so good.
Yeah,
it really
feels nice.
I guess we can cut the replay whenever you guys want to end the episode, because you don't want to watch the whole thing.
Alrighty. Cool. Let's wrap it up then.
Yeah, that's Nex Machina. I hope we covered I'm sure we missed something, but I mean, I feel like anybody who hasn't played the game will know at least what they're jumping into at this point. So if you have any interest in games like this, please like support it. I'm not shilling for them, but you know,
the effort
this game I hold dear to my heart. You know,
I mean, yeah, I could say it's like a full-fledged effort, and they really went the extra step to try to really make it appeal to everyone, and yeah, making that comparison to some of the more modern shmups. I mean, they don't talk. I mean, it's hard to pick up on a lot of that stuff, and that's why we do the show. And
yeah,
but with a game like this, it's a lot more simple, and I think that more average person can pick it up and maybe see the appeal of Score. So
yeah,
absolutely,
for sure. I mean, this is the type of game that in 20 years it's still going to be just as cool as it ever was. It's not going to age a bit.
I think this is gonna I mean, hopefully this will raise the standard for people who want to make this type of game, and if it is, I mean, if it's successful, I guess. I mean, I want it to be successful. This is so good.
Yeah, the consumer. I mean, yeah, you got to show with your money that this stuff is viable. Otherwise, you know, this might be the last of its kind. And it is a dying breed, sadly. So.
And you did mention this is the second-rated, top-rated second place on PlayStation 4. Right now,
I think on Metacritic, this is the second highest rated PS4 game, which
on Metacritic. Oh, okay, wow.
Which says a lot, you know, even though it's a game that isn't even necessarily designed for the press. You know, it's designed for a small subset of people. To them, to be able to see the inherent qualities of a game when you yourself aren't necessarily going for the top scores, if you can at least see the obvious qualities this game has, it's reflected in those reviews. That's saying a lot.
That is, it is. It's not like you're getting the brush off IGN. You know, I only played this for, you know, this game sucks. I beat it in a half hour. It's whatever. The typical shitty shmup review. People don't understand that you're supposed to play the game in a certain way and all that. So.
Yeah, and those points you just made were brought up in some of those reviews. I heard there's only 5 levels. I've heard say that. You know, it's a 45-minute game, but you know, for X player or Y player, there's this here, and what is there is excellent. So instead of a review judging a game for what it isn't, they finally reviewed a game for what it is. And
about freaking time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't want to get started on the gaming journalists these days, but yeah, they need to do a better job with how they approach some of this stuff, because it's all too often that games get reviewed for what they aren't and what they should be and what they are.
Yeah.
But yeah,
awesome.
It's, you know, not every game is supposed to pander to everyone, and this is the perfect example of that. But at the same time, it's made for everyone. That's why Rookie's there.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun checking out this. Like, ooh, so much goodness. I'm overwhelmed right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're gonna play this after this episode is done, aren't you, Actress?
I was thinking about it. Yeah, that's always a good sign. I mean, I was enjoying. I played it for the first time last night, and I was enjoying it. And I could tell right away, like, you know, it's got the stuff. So.
Yeah, you can tell right away that it's a special game, and yeah, there's just nothing like this anymore. And of course,
it looks really awesome in person. The video here is not going to do it justice. I mean, I dropped 4.5% frames, and I forgot to local record. Hopefully, this episode was actually pretty good for viewing. I forgot to local record it, but I think it should be good. But yeah, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, no, it was fun, man. Thanks for having us on and you know, doing an episode for this, because you know, most of the games that you're doing are games that have been released a long time ago or in the past, where you know, this is still fresh and the community is still really strong. So it'd be cool if people were to pick it up and join that Discord too, and get in there and, you know, and give the suggestions or feedback that you need.
Yeah, the old games are great, but it's also good to embrace something that's taking what was great about the old games and making them awesome, and with the awesome graphics and everything that's going on in this game, and being able to support that and grow the culture some more, because everyone says shmups and this type of games are dying, but are they really dying? I question that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, these games capture that simple pleasure of blowing stuff up. Even the shmup is inherently fun to a lot of people, but it's to this day and age, it's hard. It's a hard sell, you know, because the average person just wants that game as a service. I want something that I can play with my buddies, and it's going to last hundreds of hours. But yeah, it's if you can sell a game with challenge and leaderboards and coming back to it, that's the ultimate, you know, one more game. You know,
like I feel like kind of thinking of like the impact Geometry Wars had when that first came out. Like a lot of it seemed like a lot of people like really loved playing that game, and that was a twin stick shooter, so it's a really good comparison. And I feel like this could be like a next Geometry Wars, like the next step up for people. Like, I mean, Geometry Wars was so simple, and I mean, nothing was going on really in terms of like the sci-fi element that we have here.
Yeah, it was a very simple game. I mean, it was just a shapeshooter. I mean, Bizarre basically just developed that for fun to put it in Project Gotham Racing, and then it was so well received that Microsoft actually asked Bizarre to, you know, go full blast.
That would happen. Okay.
Yeah, it was just a mini game in Project Gotham Racing 2, I believe, or maybe it was 3, and it was so. You know,
I mean, that really resonated with people. I mean, everyone was playing Geometry Wars. I mean, it seems like everyone's played it, you know. And it's basically a shmup. So I mean, we can have. I mean, maybe the twin stick shooter is the modern, the real modern shmup style nowadays, or you know, who knows. I mean, with Hero Mode, it is pretty much like a cave game with the bullets and that. So it's like, it's pretty interesting. Sure. Alright, well, that's going to wrap it up for STG Weekly 122. It's been really fun. Awesome Nex Machina. Check it out. Pick it up on Steam. You know, it's only like $20 or so. What a deal. What a deal.
What a deal indeed. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean,
support it, man. If you support it, you might get more updates to the game. You might get another game like this. Who knows? It's you got to speak with your money these days. You really do. So.
Indeed. Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming by, and thank you Comcast for letting us do this episode.
Yes, and no thank you to Sky for ruining my whole time watching it. So, but I had a great time either way. So, yeah, people, just as Aquas and Zaarock and Jimmy were saying, just give this game a look, give it a try. It's still fresh in there. There's always room. Don't think just because certain people have got these bajillion high scores, oh, you couldn't reach that. There's always a chance.
Indeed.
For sure.
All right. Till next time, everyone.
All right. See you next time. Thanks, buddy.
See ya.